What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about a bombshell report, no pun intended, about new Warzone maps, some updated patch notes, and even more. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and let me know down below in the comment section, how many Warzone 2 maps do you think need to be added to spice things up, or do you think the game at its core needs a ton of work and it doesn't really matter how many maps get added to Battle Royale or Resurgence? Let me know down below in the comment section. But as a big reminder, and as I predicted, a triple XP event is now live to close off Season 2 and to get you guys caught up if you guys need to finish leveling to the max, upgrade some more weapons, or even finish your Season 2 Battle Pass. They did this in Season 1 as well, where towards the last week or two of that season, they provided us with a triple XP offer, allowing you to finish whatever it is that you guys needed to, so be sure to take advantage of that if you guys are still in need. Now, really quickly, at midnight last night, April 1st, Raven did update Warzone 2 with this new playlist called Totally the Same BR. Again, it's separate from regular Resurgence, regular BR, and this playlist will be in the game until April the 3rd. I won't say much about what happens in this playlist, but enjoy the background gameplay. As of yesterday, on March 31st, they did release the Gulag calling card, and don't forget, for the remainder of the 3-year anniversary Warzone schedule, they're going to be dropping 2 more rewards for us, April 4th and April 8th. We have a Verdansk 84 vinyl and even a birthday charm. But with that in mind, speaking of a Gulag, it was teased in some recent Season 2 patch notes that considering the return of the 1v1 Gulag and all these quality of life changes that kind of make Warzone 2 a bit more like Warzone 1, they are going to be doing a new Gulag at some point in the future. It's just unclear if that new Gulag will be offered through Al-Mazrah Battle Royale, or was that a teaser for a new Gulag in a separate Battle Royale map altogether that's probably coming out in the next season or two. But with that being said, a lot of cool quality life changes are on deck for Warzone 2, which I'm really excited about, since there still are quite a few things that are missing that Warzone 1 had over the course of that game's 3-year life cycle. But with that being said, we also have another update from Task Force 141 leakers. As I went over in yesterday's video, a ton, and I mean a ton, of code names for upcoming 6v6, Ground War, and Gunfight maps did leak out for Modern Warfare 2, but something I didn't mention in that video, which I saved for this one, is the fact that Ashika Ground War is officially happening, right? Funny enough, a couple of months ago, I think it was right before Season 1 Reloaded, somehow a PowerPoint presentation or a Google slide of some sort did leak out, and it featured an image of the TAC map for Ashika Island, and it featured confirmation that it would be available for Resurgence, Ground War, and DMZ. Now, the actual TAC map we ended up getting was rotated 90 degrees, I believe, and it still was the same map, same points of interest, but we never ended up seeing Ground War support even mentioned in any blog posts or patch notes during the duration of Season 2. So we all thought that was either canceled or being saved for a later season, and it turns out that is still being planned, and it's unclear when that's going to release, but I'd assume maybe by Season 3 the latest, unless they're going to save an update like that for some point later in 2023. I'd say while the hype around Ashika Island is still hot, they'd probably want to drop that at some point soon. I think it'd be a nice change of pace for Ground War as well, to not have to see regions from Al-Mazrah or Las Almas, but instead a different location entirely. Now, that also begs the question though, will we get any 6v6 or gunfight maps out of Ashika Island or even Building 21? To me, there's a lot of potential to do that, and would again make the game feel a bit more unique. Instead of just seeing the same regions and maps across multiple game modes, let's start seeing some different things, right? Like I said, Building 21 is gatekept as much as it is for DMZ already, so if you want to go ahead and take portions of that map for regular multiplayer, I think that would work out pretty well and give people an opportunity to play that map even when it's not available for DMZ on, what is it, Mondays through Thursdays. But when it comes to the meat and potatoes of this video, also coming from Task Force 141 leakers, apparently there's 5 Warzone maps in the files. We have one called Cruz, which is a bit of a question mark. We have Saba, which is Al-Mazrah, Biolab, which is Building 21, Delta, which is a question mark, and then we have Sea Lion, which is of course Ashika Island. And what they're claiming is that Delta is more likely another Resurgence map, while Cruz could be a bigger BR map that's the same size as Al-Mazrah. And what do you know, there's a map that fits that description, Las Almas. As we talked about many times here on the channel before, an image of the TAC map does already exist. There's many areas of Las Almas that are in Ground War, regular multiplayer, so many other areas in campaign that we're going to talk about in a separate video probably this weekend, which could also be converted into some multiplayer experiences. So that could work, and all the points of interest for a Las Almas BR map did leak out many months ago. One of those points of interest is Favela, which is also a map that got leaked out as a remaster for COD 2.0. So that could be the big BR map we end up getting, maybe by Season 5 or a 6, or they could save that for COD 2023's Warzone integration, who knows. But there are some cool responses to this tweet that I want to go over real quickly. So somebody went ahead and wrote, Delta might be somewhere where Connie PMC is. The ID seemed to refer to the enemy type there. On Ashika Island there are Mercs, Shadow Company, but on Al-Mazrah there are AQ, Al-Qatala. The story seems to be following them. So then Task Force Leakers does reply with, this could be onto something. Connie are based on Wagner, and their HQ is in St. Petersburg, a city be built across a series of islands, 42 in total. One of them happens to be called Nova Delta. So really cool idea of where this next Warzone map could be. I mean, as of right now, according to the Activision data breach, a small-scale Warzone map is set for Season 4. Again, plans may have changed, take it with a grain of salt, of course, but maybe Delta is the Resurgence map that we end up getting in Season 4 that'll be available for Warzone 2 and, of course, DMZ. Another theory in the replies to this tweet is that we have Saba, which is AQ Al-Qatala for Al-Mazrah, we have Biolab Building 21 with Shadow Company, and then Sea Lion, right, Ashika Island, features mercenaries of Shadow Company as well. Cruise could be MX, Mexico, so Las Almas. Delta could be PMC, Elite PMC, which is a little more Russian-centered, so that could be the focus they're going with here for these Warzone maps, and I'm on board with that, right? Having each Warzone map have its own identity, featuring that form of telling a post-launch story on top of the big narrative that we see in the Raid post-launch cinematics, and hopefully even more through the regular multiplayer. But once again, going back to the Activision data breach, the information for Season 5 was missing. We only had information for Seasons 2, 3, 4, and 6, but there might not be a Season 6. They might just pull all that content forward into Season 5, but because information is missing for Season 5, maybe that's where the big-scale Warzone map comes in, or because plans change, which turns Sledgehammer's Modern Warfare 2 paid expansion into a full-fledged Call of Duty, currently codenamed Project Jupiter, maybe they are saving a big-scale Warzone map to be released during Season 1 of that new game. Maybe that's what happened, or all the Warzone maps that are leaked right now in the files are for Modern Warfare 2's life cycle. I hope that's the case, and I hope that whatever Warzone integration we get for COD 2023, Sledgehammer's new game, that'll be separate from what we have right now with, Delta, and even the map known as Cruise. Now, if you're still looking for more camo grinding assistance for Polyatomic or Orion, then be sure to hit up COD Peter over on Twitter. His link is, of course, down below in this video's description. Now, also a bit of a follow-up to something we talked about in a previous Warzone video. Two DMZ bosses did leak out, Pyro and Trapper. Now, voice lines for Pyro did leak out many months ago before the launch of Ashika Island, so when that happened, we're like, okay, maybe Pyro is the boss for that map. He's holding a flamethrower. He'll be the equivalent of the Chemist or the Jug from Al-Mazrah DMZ. That's what we all thought. Then we also had leaked descriptions of Trapper, but no voice lines for him. So when Ashika Island ended up releasing, we thought that Trapper was the bomb maker because the bomb maker plants traps all around the castle. We just assumed that. But then a couple of days ago, voice lines leaked out for both Pyro and Trapper, and what do you know? The bomb maker is neither one of those characters. So we're like, okay, we have two new DMZ bosses, and we have two more Warzone 2 maps leaked out. So maybe one of these bosses is for Delta, and one of these bosses is for Cruise. Maybe that's how they're going to do it whenever DMZ support gets added for these upcoming Warzone experiences. But I do think it's probably unlikely to see new bosses added into Al-Mazrah, Building 21, or Ashika Island, since in terms of the storyline right now, that probably wouldn't really make sense. But to end this video, we also have some brand new patch notes which did release on March 31st, which was yesterday on Friday. So as they went ahead and said, general stability, the update contained fixes for a number of known crashes. Then for gameplay, starting off with the Ashika Island Resurgence score events, the time removed from the Resurgence timer by the following score events has been adjusted as follows. Armor break, 1 second down from 2, enemy downed, 4 seconds down from 5, enemy eliminated, 4 seconds down from 5, and headshot, 1 second down from 2. For bug fixes, fix an issue with tuning that allowed sprint to fire speeds to be increased beyond intended levels. This fix also considerably decreases the negative impact of tuning against sprint to fire speed. Whenever this happened, as of a couple of days ago, people thought this was a good change, right? Exclusive Ace even made a video about it, but it got reverted, so it's a bit of a troll now at this point. But with that, fix various issues that could cause some players to become stuck in certain areas around Ashika Island in Battle Royale. I believe that means Resurgence because there is no BR support for Ashika. Fix an exploit allowing players to enter the map geography with an ATV on Ashika Island. Fix an issue that allowed one-way bullet penetration in some spots on Himmelmat Expo. Fix an issue that caused some UI text to overlap in multiplayer lobbies. And lastly, address an issue where some players couldn't access social menu while in Building 21 in DMZ. But something you guys also might have missed is a stealth change to the heartbeat sensor in Warzone 2.0. So as JGod went ahead and said, it's been like this for a couple of weeks, but it's up to 50 meters from the 15 meter or so option that we had at launch. So that's good considering that's exactly what the heartbeat sensor was like in Warzone 1, where you had 50 meters of coverage, but for some reason Warzone 2 was like, you know what, let's bring that down hell of a lot to 15. No point in doing that. So thankfully we're going back to what Warzone 1 was like, and I'm assuming more changes like this are going to happen in Season 3, where we get back to the roots of Warzone and what the first 3 years were for that game, gameplay-wise. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the bombshell report regarding 2 new Warzone maps coming? How are you feeling about the brand new patch notes, everything else we discussed? Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.